The internet has existed for over 20 years now, and the entertainment industry that has been hit the hardest by this newish technology has been the music industry. The unwillingness to change in the early 2000s with constant lawsuits against piracy led to the music industry folding in on itself. In this video, we're going to take a look at where the music industry has been, where it is now, and where I believe it's heading. So let's start by taking a look at one of the biggest problems of the past 2 decades. I would consider one of the biggest problems the music industry has had to face in the past is the file size of a song. The average compressed MP3 file size is 3.5 megabytes. This takes the average American less than 1 second to download in the year 2017. To put this in perspective, the average HD movie file size is anywhere between 2,300 and 4,000 times bigger. It makes sense the music industry was hit first and hardest by piracy in the 2000s, and being one of the first industries that had to combat piracy, the music industry had to learn how to deal with this problem that caused sales to be cut in half in 10 years. While the rise of streaming has added value to music again, it is nowhere close to the value music used to have in the 90s, which is putting artists, engineers, and managers in a weird place now. So let's take a look at streaming. 1,500 streams is equal to 1 album sale for gold and platinum certifications according to the RIAA. Listening to a song or collection of songs 1,500 times gives the artist about $10, which is about the average price of an album today. To put 1,500 streams in perspective though, at 3 minutes a song, that's 4,500 minutes, or 75 hours, or just over 3 days of listening to one song over and over and over again. When Spotify's year in review feature was released, my most listened to song was just over 150 times. The amount that went to my favorite artist this year was anywhere between 90 cents and $1.30. The songs that I liked but didn't listen to nearly as much are worth much less than that. While artists are competing against the value of music going way down, they are also competing against each other. With over 20,000 songs released daily on Spotify, it is incredibly hard for musicians to rise above the noise. Once the industry got rid of gatekeepers and record companies, listeners are now drowning with a never-ending amount of choices. Well, why is this choice bad? In 2010, there were some studies done about whether customers are more likely to buy something if they have more or less choices. A grocery store would switch between having 24 different types of jams and 6 types of jams. When there are only 24 types to choose from, 60% of the customers would stop, but only 3% would actually buy something. When there's only 6 options to choose from, 40% of people would stop, only 30% would actually buy something. This is creating a problem in the music industry where there's so many choices there's a huge need for curation, which I believe has led to the rise in playlists across streaming platforms over the past 2 years. So where are we now? The value of music has dropped dramatically and the need for curation has risen fiercely. Playlists are becoming one of the main ways artists get discovered through the noise of all the music being released. But how have our listening and consuming habits changed what is important in a modern song today? There's a recent study done by Microsoft and Statistic Brain that shows our attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in the year 2000 to just over 8 seconds in the year 2015. While the study admittedly had some problems with it only testing just over 100 people, we can see the change in attention span affecting the music industry. There's a great article on The Pudding about reducing the songs and taking out all the repetition. The top 10 most repetitive songs in the tens could be decreased by an average of 85.5%. This average is more than any other decade over the past 60 years. Combined with other incentives from streaming platforms, it has led to top 40 music getting simpler in general. So what are these other incentives and how are they influencing how music is made? The main incentive is what counts as a stream. A song on Spotify has to play for 30 seconds before it counts as a stream, which has caused artists to make the hook in the first 30 seconds of a song to make sure they get a stream count. The rise in streaming has also led to changes in the way people consume music. While car stereos and nice hi-fi music listening systems are still available, the vast majority of people listen to music on headphones and earbuds, which has allowed artists to create music that feels like they're speaking to you rather than singing at you. And I believe this has led to the rise in people singing softly and the rise of mumble rap. So where do we go from here? There are 20,000 songs released daily, the average attention span has decreased by a third, and the way we consume music is changing what is popular. I think moving forward, there's going to be a huge rise in community curators. While popular streaming services allow people to make playlists, the people making playlists don't have a brand fans can associate with. If a music streaming service allows curators who create playlists to develop a brand and personality on their platform, I think this would be a huge and healthy addition to current music streaming platforms. With that being said, I think over the next 5 years, there's going to be a huge rise in community curators on social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, before getting added to the current music streaming platforms. For young artists and music lovers, I think this is the spot to break into the music industry. I think we will also see a huge rise of musicians really starting to incorporate live streaming platforms such as YouTube and Twitch into their brand. With all the content being made and released every day, live streaming allows artists to stay on the minds of their fans by creating easy content, such as doing a live cover show every week or allowing people to see behind the curtains about what it's like to be a professional musician, by showing fans time spent practicing, creating, mixing, and mastering music. While piracy really hurt the music industry in the 2000s, there's finally progress being made in the music business, which makes it much easier for it to be profitable for artists. While artists can no longer rely solely on music sales, the artists who focus on building their brand and have a variety of content besides just music will really start to take off. Oh, hey, did not see you there. I was not playing anything besides the jazz because I am a musician's musician. Anyways, if you like the video, please hit subscribe and do all that social media things.